Welcome to the Nerf Report. We have a great show lined up for you this week. EA CEO Andrew Wilson discusses the future of cloud gaming. Ubisoft doubles down on its support for Google Stadia, and Facebook has acquired Unit 2 Games, which has huge implications for the future of Facebook and Facebook cloud gaming. All of this and much, much more on this week's episode of the Nerf Report.
Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant, and this is a very special episode for me as it represents the 200th episode of the Nerf Report. This show has been an incredible journey for me. And admittedly, I bit off way more than I could chew when I started 4 years ago. But seeing how far the show has come from, one show a week to daily videos and the awesome community of people just watching this content, commenting on videos, or even just talking about the Nerf Report on Twitter genuinely brings such a huge smile to my face every time that I think about it. So on behalf of the channel, myself, and my family, thank you for all of your support over the past couple of years. If you are currently or ever have been a Nerf Report best friend, thank you. Your financial support gets invested directly back into improving this show. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for that. And if you're not a best friend, but you'd like to be, simply click that join button below this video. And for $4.99 a month, you can help us continue to grow this community as we head towards our next 200 episodes if we don't get canceled. Let's talk about this week's news, specifically EA. As this week, Andrew House, the CEO of EA, sat down with Fortune.com to discuss the future of cloud gaming, in which Andrew Wilson stated that he thinks cloud will eventually disrupt the gaming industry, much like it does for every other vertical. However, Wilson does feel there will need to be a few more turns of the innovation cycle for us to get there. And when specifically asked, have Google Stadia's stumbles changed the way that you think about cloud gaming, Andrew Wilson responded by saying, "It's early, right? That's okay. That's what happens when you're on the cutting edge." I've actually played some games on Stadia, and I will tell you, the game experience is actually pretty good. It's not bad. The issue with Stadia was that for multiplayer games, it was really hard to find other people to play with early on in the cycle. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But what I saw was actually reassuring because there was a lot of goodness in gameplay, and that's only going to get better. Which brings us to our next topic, Ubisoft, or Ubisoft. Either way, Ubisoft this week further deepened their support for Google Stadia on two separate fronts, with the first announcement being that Google Stadia is officially adding 10 games to Stadia in the upcoming months, with Ubisoft adding titles like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Far Cry 4, Far Cry Primal, Rayman Legends, and Rainbow Six Siege will all be coming to Google Stadia. And personally, I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think it's one of the best games in the series, and I will definitely be picking that up when it arrives on Google Stadia. But the second announcement from Ubisoft was the reveal that Stadia's Ubisoft Plus beta program will be expanding to players in Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Belgium, and Switzerland. Which, if you're not aware, Ubisoft Plus gives players on Stadia access to every Ubisoft game available on the platform for $14.99 a month. And in a lot of ways, both of these stories are kind of tied together. Because for Ubisoft Plus subscribers, the moment that any of those new 10 Ubisoft titles arrive on Stadia, that means they will be instantly added to your library. No installs, no purchases, just jump into the game. And finally for this week, let's talk about Facebook, the company who, even though they do some extremely questionable stuff, we never criticize them in public because they've been secretly compiling dirt on us for a few years now. I hate Facebook. They're literally the worst company in the world. I wish somebody would just shut them down. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you feel that way, Brian. While you're here, let me just check your file real quick. Should we talk about this fake account you made for your dog so you can spy on your exes? What? Or why don't we talk about all the pokes your grandma sent you and you just ignored them and said, and I'm quoting here, "Sorry, Grandma, I think my Facebook is broken. I'm unable to poke you back." Okay, that one I can Oh my! How about this photo that your friend tagged you in, huh? It'd be a shame if that somehow became your profile picture permanently and you wouldn't be able to delete it. I feel like I owe you an apology. All jokes aside, Facebook was in the news this week after it was announced that the developer Unit 2 Games would officially be joining the Facebook gaming family. In which Vivek Sharma, the VP of Facebook Gaming, wrote, "We currently have two types of creators on Facebook Gaming. Video creators who live stream games and professional game developers who make games on our platform. With the addition of Unit 2 Games, we'll expand the notion of Facebook creator to include people who collaboratively build, publish, and share games, worlds, and new experiences on Facebook." Now, if you are unaware, Unit 2 is the studio behind the fantastic game Crayta, which allows people to play, create, and publish video games that either can be built from the ground up or be created by using pre-made frameworks that the team at Unit 2 Games has already created. In Crayta, players will build worlds or video games using the ever-growing library of meshes, voxels, and user-generated templates. And with Crayta, in many ways, the only limitation for users is your imagination. And as to why Facebook Gaming would be interested in a studio like this, Sharma said, "We can now make content creation easier than ever by bringing our team together with Unit 2 Games' team and technology. In the future, people on Facebook will create experiences in a matter of minutes without the need to code, while more advanced creators can make more content limited only by their imagination. Crayta has maximized current cloud streaming technology to make game creation more accessible and easy to use. We plan to integrate Crayta's creation toolset into Facebook Gaming's cloud platform to instantly deliver new experiences on Facebook." Now, we have previously covered Facebook's gaming ambition on the show, with Facebook as a platform being home to 2.7 billion monthly users, with 90 million of those users interacting in groups that are gaming themed, and over 800 million users play video games on Facebook every single month. And now, with the acquisition of Unit 2 Games and Crayta, not only playing games but creating games could potentially be done on the Facebook platform, ever expanding upon the overall vision of Unit 2 to democratize video game development. I mean, think about it. Now with this acquisition, anyone with access to a Facebook account could potentially get their start at developing video games. The next Cory Barlog, Hideo Kojima, or Shigeru Miyamoto could get their start by building games on Crayta via Facebook. But the other side of this story that I find very intriguing is this story just adds to the massive popularity and potential in metaverse-style games. Like following games like Roblox going public or Rec Room raising a $1.25 billion valuation. Games that offer virtual spaces to interact, create, and play are becoming extremely popular amongst investors. And Facebook acquiring a metaverse-style game like Crayta is just the latest chapter in that overall story. And let's face it, the potential for this acquisition is huge. Video games, in many ways, are becoming the new social media platforms. And if done correctly, I could easily see Crayta becoming a really unique way for Facebook users to interact with friends and capitalize on that virtual experience where all of your friends could go bowling or play paintball inside of Crayta, putting us all one step closer to that gamer dream world of Ready Player One, which I am 100% ready for. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the Nerf Report. Thank you again so much for watching, and a special thank you to all of the Nerf Report best friends who make content like this possible. Until next time, my name is Brian Chappell, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.